Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I'm thrilled because, a lot of times you say, gee, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I've always wanted to do a segment on the cinema on the sound, the movie theater, right there on the strip, right there in downtown City Island. And so let's say hello to manager Jerry Landi. Nice to see you, Jerry.
Thank you for having me, Gary. Nice to see you.
So let's just talk about the origin of now. It's about a year and a half old. The origin of Cinema on the Sound. There was some empty space right there on the, as I mentioned, at 270 City Island Avenue. What gave you the the crazy idea that I'm going to turn this into a movie theater?
Well, as most people in the Bronx know me, I'm a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker for a long time. And I travel all over the country and I show my films in different states. My films are shown in different countries. And you get these great films that you see and you never see again. Like you see them at a film festival, everybody loves it, they get awards, and the movie disappears. So I started showing movies at Clipper Coffee on probably a monthly basis. I would have movie night and I would show these independent films. I would have the filmmakers there. I would have them talk about their process afterward, do a Q&A. And people really liked it. And I started exposing people to genres of film that they never thought they even would like. So my mission statement was if I could get a bigger space, I'd like to open up a theater and have it open to filmmakers, show a lot of old movies, do plays, exhibitions, anything for the community. We've done Breakfast with Santa Claus. We did filmmakers with disabilities showcase where we showed all these films from disabled filmmakers. So it was just to get, we lost that communal feeling of being in a movie theater, especially during the pandemic. And you got to see movies with a group of people. So I figured, well, why not do something out there? Introduce people to these new films, introduce people to each other. And so far in the year and a half that we've been open, we've met so many filmmakers from right here in the Bronx who've had their first films shown on Cinema on Sound.
Yeah, and
So
I'm going to give you applause because this is what we need in the Bronx. We have more creativity than any place else I've ever seen.
oh yeah.
and
Oh
and
yeah.
and so you're giving it a chance to show. We should mention, you mentioned Clipper Coffee. It's right next door,
Yes.
a couple of doors down.
The owner of Clipper Coffee actually is the owner of Cinema on the Sound.
Oh, he has
And
the property. I see.
yeah,
So
he
what?
owns. So yeah, so he's the guy who pays the bills. So,
Yeah,
and he thought that this was a great idea. He's a community guy, and he does a lot of things for the community. And he thought that this was kind of like an offspring of what he does at the coffee shop, where he brings people together. So that's what we're doing on City Island.
well,
We're
it's
we're
fantastic.
introduced. Yeah.
And now, in terms of the first of all, the audience, are they people from? You say the audience was kind of, you had told me they were looking for karate movies, and you came up with karate movies. But are these City Island people, or do people come from elsewhere?
We've had
Certainly if you
we've
have dinner in a movie, you want to go to City Island because you have a really good dinner, you have a really good seafood dinner, and then go see a flick.
You could go anywhere and see Oppenheimer or see the Barbie movie, right? But there's not too many places you could see Peter Jackson's early films, Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles. See old film noir movies from the 20s, pre-code movies. Also, we show movies like musicals and all kinds of films. We kind of mix it up. So
But so people come from other places and
oh yeah, people. I've had people from Long Island. I've had people from Queens. I've had people from Westchester, Rockland County. A lot of them are filmmakers, and they're looking for a venue to show their films. So they're coming to the Bronx to show their movies to Bronx people, and we're getting a lot of audience from. We have like a pretty decent crowd on City Island that supports us, but we're getting people from the surrounding areas that are coming in. And like you said, come to City Island, have something to eat, come to Cinema on the Sound and see a whacked out movie. We
one of the reasons I like Jerry, he's got a little Bronx perspective. Like he'll say whacked out movies. We get that. Um, in terms of selecting the movies and getting the films, is that an issue? And do you show them with film, or at this point, of course, everything is digital, so you have some digital projection. I'm just curious about that because the rights to the movie, the fact that you charge admission, all that kind of complicates, as opposed to you saying to your friends, come sit with me in my living room and I'm going to show we'll watch a couple old movies.
most of the movies that we show have no rights to them, and a
Huh?
lot of people probably be surprised to know that nobody owns the rights to a lot of these movies. When DVDs first came out, the reason why you saw Night of the Living Dead in every bin was because nobody owned the rights to it. So we're showing movies that don't have the rights. And I've actually reached out to filmmakers like the director of The Human Centipede to show his first movie, and he said, yeah, sure. So I guess being a filmmaker, when I reach out to filmmakers and want to show their film,
They get it.
they get it. And
They get it.
99.9% of the time, they're like, wow, you're showing this movie. This movie hasn't been shown in years. Yeah, please show it out there. And we've even had filmmakers do video introductions before the film to say, thank you for coming to Cinema on the Sound in the Bronx. And the director of The Human Centipede, Tom Six, did a
Wow.
personalized video. Said, thank you for showing my film in the Bronx.
Right. So it's really it's kind of an organic thing, so to speak. That it kind
Yeah.
of whatever you want to do, you figure out a way to put it.
To get it shown. And like I said, a lot of these movies that we show studio doesn't have the rights to them anymore. Like they're open rights. And I'm on an archive where they tell me the movies that I could show. So all the movies we show, I can show because nobody owns the rights to them. So yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. In terms of the film and theater in the movie theaters in the Bronx, this, as far as I know, is the only independent theater. Now, we used to have more of them, of course, in different neighborhoods, but this is literally the only independent theater. Do I have that right?
You have it right. Yeah. And it's really sad because growing up in the Bronx, I used to get on the bus and goes to the Loews American, the Palace Theater, the Circle Theater, the Interborough on Tremont Avenue, which was like, I could walk there from where I was. So I grew up going to the movies, and when the movies were packed, and that was the one thing. There was no cable at that point, right? There were 3 channels, tell the kids that, 3 channels. And so everybody went to the movies, and the next day a movie opened up and everybody was talking about that film. So we've lost that. And as a filmmaker, it's sad because when I show my films to these audiences, they really dig them. They're like, wow, look at this. I'm saying, yeah, I wish more people would go back to going to the movies and getting this communal experience.
Okay, so this program is going to air Thursday, the 17th. And so after that, you were telling me To Sir with Love. Is that a film you're going to show?
Yeah, that's one of the films we're going to show. Yeah, it's a great
movie.
Yeah. And we have next month we have a documentary called the filmmaker reached out to me called Rock and Horror, which shows how heavy metal and horror have blended, and it's an original documentary showing it in the Bronx for the first time. So that's kind of what I really want to do, and I'm reaching out to filmmakers. If you really have a film and you can't get it out there, contact me because we'll show it in the theater, we'll promote the hell out of it, and we'll just get you out there.
Yeah, and also for everybody's sake, your friends and family and people who want to see it in the theater with other people and see people's reactions to it, that probably works out pretty well. So let's see. You have To Sir with Love. You mentioned that there's a karate movie coming.
Yeah, and also one thing I want to say,
people love it.
Well, we showed Armor of God, which the rights are floating in the air, which was one of Jackie Chan's first movies. Right. And people came into the audience and go, "Oh my God, this movie's so great!" I go, "Yeah." So we're, I just wanted to say, because it's kind of personal to me, that what I really want to do is expose Bronx filmmakers to the public, because I had a kid this weekend who never saw his film on a big screen, and it was the first time he saw his movie on a big screen in my theater with other short films, and he walked away and it was like Christmas morning to a 3-year-old. So I really want to get
it's fantastic. It's just fantastic. And you get that feeling, I'm sure, often. The other one you mentioned to me was Meet the Feebles. That's the Peter Jackson movie.
Yes. We showed Bad Taste a couple of weeks ago, which was his first movie. And a lot of people came in and were thinking about Lord of the Rings. And when they saw this movie, they go, "What happened to this guy?" I said, he lost his independent roots and he went big time, which is something, which happens to the best of us, I guess.
So let's see. Excuse me. So let's see. Cinema on the Sound, 270 City Island Avenue. How do people find out what's coming up? I mean, there's an email list. I know I'm on it, so I see everything.
Yeah, you could go to, you can email me at landyjerry@yahoo.com. and I'll put you on the email list. We're on Cinema on the Sound on Instagram, so it's Cinema on the Sound. And go there, and every week I post what we're showing, special events, and whatever we're up to is up on Instagram. I've gotten so many followers just through the Instagram site, so Instagram has been very good to us.
You know what communicates very well? Your passion for doing this. You know,
Oh, thank you.
I've conducted a million interviews, and just hearing you just talk about the importance of, it's not only that you have this theater and that's a nice thing, but the importance of emphasizing Bronx artists, giving Bronx filmmakers a chance, showing original films, bringing the community together. And, I'm going to say it editorially, you get it. You get the idea, you know?
And I'm Bronx centric. I'm a Bronx boy. I'm going to die here, hopefully. And I just
I hope not soon, because we need this theater.
I still have a few things to do, I guess. But yeah, it's I can't tell you about like how I travel this country. And when people find out I'm from the Bronx, they look at you in a certain way. And then the way I talk about the Bronx, how passionate I am about this place, and the films I shot here, the people I've met here. It's a shame that only we know about this. And I've always tried to bring the Bronx out of the Bronx and show people how cool we really are out here.
You didn't see the previous segment. We had Camille Botello from the Bronx Times, and she's from the West. She's from Idaho, of all places. And so she talked about coming here. And I mentioned to her, I don't even remember if I said it on the air or off the air, it's like undiscovered territory. Nobody knows we're here. It's just we're here. We're living these very interesting, complex lives, and nobody knows we're here. Okay, Cinema on the Sound, 270 City Island Avenue. And when do you show the movies? Whenever it makes sense?
Well, it's just no. Well, now we're on a Wednesday night at 7:00 and Saturday nights at 7:00. Right. I do a lot of special screenings sometimes, and if you're on my email list, you'll get that. But we found out that Wednesday night's a good night. People like to get out of the house on Wednesday night. We're showing crazy movies on Wednesday night.
Break up the week pretty good. Please let's advertise our friends at City Island. Have a nice dinner. Stop into the Artist, which is a new name for Elliot Glick's place. Go across the street and
to the Black Whale, to the new pizzeria we have, to Sticks Ice Cream.
Say hello to Ron Turner in the Focal Point Gallery.
We're all a big happy family out here. We all work together, especially when it comes to art. And
Jerry, we got to run. Stay well. We'll see you, and let's keep running films at the Cinema on the Sound. That, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for the Bronx Buzz. Thank you to Camille. Thank you so much to Jerry. Thank you to you. And if the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, I'll be here next week.